She was a child.
Yeah. You were a little girl.
Sie sind alle recht herzlich eingeladen zur Kaffeetafel ins Dorfgemeinschaftshaus. Wer jetzt noch Fotos machen möchte hier, wir werden noch Fotos hier vor der Tafel machen und werden dann auch noch zu dem Grab.
Aus Respekt vor unseren Gästen in Englisch zu halten und sehen Sie mir den ein oder anderen Holperer vielleicht nach. Ladies and gentlemen, dear guests, due to the special and probably unique occasion, local manager Werner Schröder and I arranged that we would share the welcome of our guests. While Werner gave the welcome speech in the German language for the village of Sprekens, I would try and like to welcome you here in English. A special greeting applies, of course, to our guests from the United Kingdom and Canada, who took the long journey to reveal a memorial plaque today, which acts as a reminder of the plane crash of the Lancaster LL687 here in Sprekens, which was 73 years ago on this particular day. Today we would like to think of the crew members and their relatives to keep the memory of them alive. In detail, our guests are Jean-Claude Charlebois and his wife Anne, Greg Scott with his wife, Sandra Barker, Lloyd Truscott and his wife Martha, and Lynn Melek with her daughter Kirsten Perry. I would like to welcome you here in Bremerförde, Sprekens. Further on, I would like to give a warm welcome to
our guests from Canada and from Great Britain. I'm here really, we are overwhelmed by this really warm welcome from everyone. All the participation of you ladies and gentlemen, and Pastor Nuxall, thank you. We really owe a debt of gratitude to so many people in Stad, Bremerförde, and in Spreken, and to all the citizens here. Your approval for this wonderful memorial in this community is invaluable, and it's an act of wonderful kindness and friendship. Thank you. Very, very special thanks to so many who helped us with this memorial project. Burgermeister Detlef Fischer, of course, led the works here to make things happen, and his wonderful assistant, Frau Ilona Heller. We worked together on the internet, translating. It was amazing communication. Everything worked in little pieces, week after week, month after month, and we thought we'd never get it done. And in the last month, it all got together. People really gelled and assembled it all together. We're overwhelmed with this beautiful show of respect from everyone. Thank you. We have to thank Burgermeister Werner Schröder. Very silently behind the scene was doing all this work with his people, and said, don't worry, everything will be ready. And we found out everything was ready 2 days before we arrived. I think they wanted to keep a secret surprise, and it is really a wonderful surprise. Thank you so much. And then we have, of course, the people at the Bremerförde newspaper, Mr. Reiner Klofkorn. Mr. Klofkorn read our story. We wrote to them 3 or 4 years ago, and then finally we got an answer back from them. They said yes, they would love to do the story, and he interviewed these gentlemen. He interviewed Mrs. Weiss, who is here today. Thank you very much to Frau Weiss. She remembers where the plane fell and was able to identify the field, and now we find out that the actual crash site has been identified as being there for sure. We thought it was in the field somewhere, but Robert set up the 408 squadron flag at the far end of the field here, and we know exactly where the crash site is. And that, to us, is unbelievable. It's a real surprise, and it's really wonderful to know.
Our story. Our story actually started on this day in 1944 when Bomber Command issued orders for operations over Hamburg, Germany. 13 Lancasters and 7 Halifax bombers from the 408 Squadron of Nanus took part in this operation. 3 Lancasters and 1 Halifax failed to return home. Lancaster LL687, coded EQM, the Berlin Special, was one of them. He crashed in this field over here 73 years ago today. All crew were killed except for survivor David Scott. My dad's brother, Flight Sergeant Harold Edwin Truscott, was on that flight. He was mid-upper gunner. Harold has no known grave. And it wasn't talked about at home. And then there was a picture on a mantel. Whenever I asked, it was always, he died during the war. So I thought I'd do a little bit of research and try and find out what happened. So I first started about 40 years ago, and from the records I found...
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Sandra Barker. Originally, Craig would be doing this part of this ceremony, but he's asked me to do it on his behalf. So, in my hand, by the way, I do have the diary of David Scott, which actually started this whole thing off and ultimately led to today's celebrations and memorial. When David Scott passed away in 2004, his son Craig, who's on the front row there, came across a very ordinary looking notebook when he was going through his dad's personal belongings. On the front cover is written, David Scott, a diary of my time as a prisoner of war from 1944 to 1945. And inside, on the cover, David has written, whilst I was a prisoner of war in Germany in 1944, I wrote a diary of my experiences. And as it was written in pencil and become very faded, I've decided to try and make a fair copy. Well, this is his fair copy with some additional notes that he added since then, and there's also some newspaper clippings and so on. And David did that in 1999, 5 years before he passed away himself. And although he'd actually spoken a little bit about his wartime experiences, as far as Craig knew, he simply told him that his plane had crashed somewhere in Germany and that he was the only survivor on that plane and the rest of the crew were Canadian. And really that was more or less all that Craig knew. Craig wanted to speak to you today about his father's diary. However, although he's managed to travel here and to be part of this special occasion, he feels it would be better if I read the speech out, the speech that he planned. Craig and I were a couple together for many years and we're now just very great friends. But I knew his father David very well, and I remember David as a tall, handsome, intelligent and very quiet man, a very wise...